Hello and welcome to Sports Palava. I am Ken Ochonogo. It's not been this bad. We know it is bad. We know it has been bad, but it has not been this bad. 1983, that is when the world says we have our own world championship, just like football started in 1930. And over the years, by 2015, right now as we speak, the world converges, the athletic world has converged in Beijing, China, with the creme de la creme, the very best of athletes all over the world. Nigerians are there too. But I tell you, the news is not too good. Because like we say, in our economy, Nigeria practices mono economy. Everything is dependent on oil. The price of oil is below $40, and we're all panicking. And then same, when it comes to athletics, a mono athletes. Leading up to the finals of the 100 meters women, we said, yes, bless Nokabare, you give us the gold. Or if you can't get the gold, maybe a silver. But because your qualifying time was the third best, yes, the worst we could think of is a bronze. But then what happened? She finished 8 out of 8. Her specialty is the 200. But then she pulled out of the 200. So where lies our hope? But then the Kenyans were known for long distances. 2015, Kenya has not just where they dominate. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the steeplechase events. Gold, silver, bronze, and it is the 4th position to spare. They also collected gold medal in 400-meter hurdles and the javelin. So you ask yourself, athletics, is it a question or a statement that athletics is dead in Nigeria? So who is responsible? And how can we reinvent? How can we resuscitate? How can we bring it back to life? That's the crux of the matter. Do we blame the government for this? Or is it we, the people, that have shirked our responsibilities in this particular regard? I start with the man who says, why not? The government is the father. So let the buck stop at their desk. Shegun Shoduke. Shegun, how are you?
I'm doing very good, Ken. Good afternoon. It's good to be here once again, and it's good to be on the show. Good afternoon to our viewers. Good afternoon to everyone around the world watching. Without wasting much of our time, going straight to the topic today, I think we need to educate our viewers. I would say very shortly and brief that I think the government have failed in some responsibility in athletics. Yeah, I think we have turned to a government of celebrating football. Football has become the world sport for Nigerians, and until we begin to look inwards once again and begin to build a developmental things for athletics, I think we might be seeing the end of athletics in the Nigerian economy. But quickly going to quickly picking up the issues here this afternoon, Ken. I want to say really, I'm not really happy. My heart is really sad seeing Nigeria's performance at the IWAF. It means, see, it has been coming for a long time. We have not seen the handwriting on the wall for over 14 years before Blessing Okagare won a medal at the last one in 2013 in Moscow. We went 14 years without any medal at the IWAF, and we have not seen the red alert actually blinking. So for me, how does the government come in here? How does the government get to be blamed? I think we don't have a structure for athletics in this country. I think athletics has to start from the grassroots. And when I mean the grassroots, I mean from the primary school level. I remember those days when I was growing up. There is something we call the inter-house sports. How has the inter-house sport actually grown today? You look at the structure of our schools today. You don't even have schools who actually have even common field for track events. Is really very poor. So for me, in a very short time, I think the government have a whole lot to blame. Let me allow my opponent to say something before I actually bring up more of my points this afternoon. But I feel the government have not done enough for athletics in this country, and rather than face the total sport, we have put more focus on football, which has not even in fact been yielding the very best of results.
Okay, he says the government that when you approve schools, we give them permission to build their schools. How many of them do you say you must have a track, you must have a field, you must have a basketball court, you must have a volleyball court, you must have something just as simple as what if I say some sporting facilities that your peoples can go there and have when you have your break. So I got to the man who called the senior editor, Osarete Mose. He says, do you agree that it's all about the government?
No. When you talk of, let me take you back memory lane. In those days, before the 1952 Olympics, people that were doing sports for this country were not sponsored by government. In fact, it was the British government that was in charge then. So the MA Amu, MA Ogun, Sonny Oyerikwa and all were all from secondary school, from police academy, from the army barracks. These days, we don't even have them. Parents should be blamed. You and I, does our children even do any sports? Inter-house sports, schools, they are no longer even there. Even when they are there, the parents will never allow them. The parents should have the chunk of the blames because we don't allow our children to do sports. Majority of those doing sports are children from very poor homes. Those that cannot fend for themselves. Then in as much as we don't encourage our children to do sports, it's only when we bring up our children to do sports, they grew up, then government will take over from there. But you don't expect government to go to your various homes to start picking them at the age of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should blame ourselves first before blaming the government. So I disagree with him that government should be blamed for the death of sports in Nigeria.
Okay, I will soon open. I will still throw the floor open. But then I want to synthesize what both of you have just said. Looking at it, let us look at it from your own area. Okay. When we are talking about the government and its policies, the national policy, the 2009 national policy of sports in Nigeria, they tell us that yes, every Nigerian child in the university must as a policy undertake a minimum of 4 units of courses, compulsory elective, during a particular period that you are in school. Whether you are studying engineering, medicine, you want to be a lawyer or whatever it is, you must, as a compulsion, go over there and take some 4 units of sport before you can qualify and get a certificate. But then that is the policy. And our society says, how many of us are doing what? Let us go back and see what Richard Williams did for his children, Serena and Venus. Today, Serena, at 34, is the #1 player in the world. The first siblings to dominate because they said the blacks cannot play. The blacks cannot play tennis. And there they are. Look at them at that particular age. The father took them to tennis clubs, play youth tournament. The government did not invest a kobo today. And that's why 17 years after, they are still repeating this. Tiger Woods, the same thing, the black man. The black man never played golf. But the father took him at that young age and moved on. Osarete, that is Tiger Woods. Osarete says, how many of us are taking our children over there? Now, the floor is open, gentlemen.
Let me take the first shoot here this afternoon. I was hearing what you were saying, and I was actually smiling in my mind. Yeah. Now, you look at this. The question I ask is, how many Nigerian schools actually run what's called inter-house sports? I remember when I was growing up in primary school, there's something we call physical and health education in primary school. So you don't pick talent in universities. Let's be realistic to ourselves. You don't pick talent when people are about 18 years of age, 17 years of age. That is not when to pick talent. In China is one of the dominating nations in the Olympics. They pick talent at the age of 6, 7, and 8. They have training camp. I was going to a research recently, and China has over 150 training camps for athletes. 150 training camps for athletes where they build young talent, even for sport. In America, there is a training camp for athletes whereby these people are built from a very young age. They give them there's something in America called scholarships. They give them scholarship if you are good in athletics. Something called student athletic scholarship in America. Now the question is, the Nigerian terrain here, we only have things on paper like we have here. We have things on paper. The question is, what is the implementation? How many schools are running inter-house sports? Now, from inter-house sports, we go to local governments. From the local government, it goes to state. From the state, it goes to the federal. The question is, even our National Youth Sports Festival, we call a talent pool of Indian talents. How many talents in our last sports festival are presently representing the nation at this current time? So what we're saying is the government still has a whole lot of things to do in terms of implementation. I went back to my secondary school a couple of weeks ago, Ken, and I was really ashamed that even the small little field we had in playing football in those days has now been turned to a classroom. You find that students are filled up in school. There is nothing like extracurricular activities. Now, how do you expect it? I'm a graduate, for instance. I went to a university, and for 4 years, sport was just an optional thing. It wasn't even part of the curriculum.
Is that not a government policy thing? Yeah, the government that is also, to drop the curriculum, that emphasis in this, as it is in the national policy, sport policy, and get that done. It's not the government supposed to enforce it, so that yes, it is done. And I ask you this: they said, government, like he's saying you this, you are blaming the people.
He's blaming the government.
Yes.